Now we're gonna speak about insertion in a single linked list and how can insertion work in a single linked list. So there are a couple of ways you can insert here. You can insert at the head, you can insert the tail, and I will focus on inserting after certain value. So for this example, I will insert a 6, which means we will make a node of value 6 after a node of value 3, which are just at index 1, which means this node. So how can we insert after this node? We can think of it, we need somehow to reach for this node, like we need to go there. So how can we do this? We simply use our next property. Our next property will call our next node, and when we reach for this node, we're just gonna return our next node, which is the value of 3, and we're just gonna check is the value of 3 is the one we're searching for. It is the value we're searching for. So once we've hit our value, we're gonna create our new node of value 6, which we want to insert. And once we created our node, now we need to some way add it between 3 and 9 here. So how can we do this? So if you looked at it, we will probably need some way to connect 6 with 9 and to connect 3 with 6. And we just remove this arrow between 3 and 9. And this is what should happen. We have our element value 6. We're gonna point the next pointer of the node of value 6, which we want to insert, to the value of 9. And how can we access this 9? We can access using our cloned pointer, which represents node value 3, which has a next pointer to the value of 9. So basically we will gonna point to 9, and now we have 2 pointers to 9, and we should only have 1 pointer to 9, since it's pointless to have a 3 pointing to 9, because it's not a linked list at this case, because linked list is a sequence of elements. Not sequence in memory, it's sequence in more like several pointers pointing at different locations in memory. But moving on to this scenario. Now we have our node 6, which points to 9. Now we have node 3. We want this node 3 to point to the current 6. And we already created our new node of value 6. So now, and we also have a pointer of 3. So basically we just access the property next, and we change its value to our node, which we just created, of value 6. And this is how an insertion in a single linked list would work like. And that's it for a single linked list. And let's say you want to add or insert an element after value, let's say -15, which doesn't exist in this case. So how can we solve this problem? You're just gonna search throughout this linked list, and until you find that there are no remaining elements at the point where you find a null value, which means an empty node, which means you can't really do anything with null value. So at this case you can't add a value after that specific element, because that specific element doesn't exist. Alright, just to make sure I have explained it, a linked list is different than an array list, because linked list is not a sequence of data stored in a memory. Linked list has pointers, and those pointers point at random location in memory. Array and array lists are sequential, they are connected together, each one is next to another, but linked list is not. Linked list refer to random access location in memory. Like you can have an element, let's say at 0, and another element after 200 variable name or whatsoever. They are not specifically required to be next to each other. I just made this explanation so you can have better understanding of how linked list can be stored in memory. Thank you. See you next